Hey guys, so I'm going to talk to you about anxiety. Anxiety is something that at times can really control my life. Anxiety is something that I have a lot of empathy for people that are dealing with it. And so I'm going to talk about my experience with it from a timeline back. Last year I had some what felt like heart problems. I was having chest pain, and I felt like there was a lot of pressure in my chest. I was having a hard time getting air, and it lasted for days. And this was at a really, really hard time when I decided to go out on my own as a trainer. And I went to the hospital. They ran all these tests on me, and they said I was fine. But then they interviewed me, and it turned out that I had a high level of anxiety, which they prescribed me medications for, which I hated. So I didn't take the medications. I found different ways to deal with it. And when it comes, and I just deal with it. So I'm going to talk about the first time that I realized that I had it. Going back, I was about 7 or 8, and I had some attachment issues to my parents, and I would freak out if I had to be away from them for a longer period of time, which eventually I got over. And I actually remember it clearly. Me and a friend of mine, Jono, we were in his basement tearing apart boxes. Like, we took our mindset and put the what I called homesick at the time in a box, and I just tore the box up. And I don't know, I don't remember ever having it after that. The next time that it was really severe, right outside my house was a project called High Point. I had some friends that lived there, and there was drive-bys frequently. Me walking home from Denny Middle School, I lived about 5 blocks away from home, would get surrounded by other kids and sometimes beat up. I got jacked for my shoes one time. I got robbed at gunpoint for a bike one time. Just horrible things would happen from time to time. And so I grew into this paranoia that I was always going to get shot at or just followed home. So I would run home every day. So I dealt with this high level of stress every day after school. And so I would run home and lock my door, and I just never wanted to go outside. And it lasted about a year. And I told one of my teachers that I was going through this. She actually referred me to a counselor at school, which the counselor then walked me through the process of what I was feeling. They found out I was having a lot of issues at home with my parents, being that my mom was an addict, in and out of jail, and just a lot of problems. So they kept me in counseling, and I liked it because they always took me to McDonald's or whatever, excuse me, from class, which I liked. So the next level of anxiety was in high school, and I would get into social encounters with some criminal suspects, bad kids, and I would just being around them made me very, very nervous. And I guess I thought it was social anxiety, but it was just anxiety. And now, as of late, I run my own business now. Luckily for me, it's been a success. But when I first went out on my own, I contracted for a person, and all of my savings went down the drain. I racked up credit cards. I went into tax debt, all within 12 months, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. My stress levels were going through the roof. I felt like, I really wanted to get married soon, and I was failing my soon-to-be wife, and I was failing myself. And so that was when I checked into the hospital. And so now I still deal with it from time to time. When you're trying to grow a business and sometimes things don't go your way, and you have to take a few steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes those can be painful. Sometimes they're out of your control. And sometimes they cause high levels of anxiety. So, what do I do? This is what's most important. I have a tendency of organizing when I get stressed. I will go through my schedule book, make sure all my schedules are updated. I will go through my billing, make sure that is updated, my taxes, whatever I can to make sure that I'm feeling like things are, buttoned up. I'll go through, do the dishes, clean my house. I have a hard time exercising when I'm anxious. I can't seem to do it. The other thing I do is basically write out my day, where I'm going to spend my time. And for some reason, organization really gives me a feeling of security when I'm feeling anxious. So that's something that I do. Yoga, the thing about that is that you go into a dark room and you basically have to tell yourself over and over again that things are okay, and you choose to take your phone away from you, because the tendency to look at your phone and look at what everybody else is doing, it can be overwhelming and make you feel anxious. So disconnecting from my phone for that hour, telling myself that I love myself, it really does help. What else do I do? Just talk. You got to talk to someone. Talking to people is probably the most essential one. Talking to a professional and understanding that you have it. If you have an addicting personality, understand that you have it, and there's nothing you can do about your personality, but channel it correctly, mitigate it, do what you can, because you are who you are. Accept it and love it and move on. I hope that this video is really helpful to you, because in times where I'm feeling the way I can feel, this video would be helpful to me. So if you ever want to talk, I'm open. Message me. We can do a Skype, and I'd love to help you. Thanks.